This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona, Phoenix. Yes, Brother Mike. Back on the radio, HardcoreChristianity.com. You have just arrived at Filthy Fridays on Hardcore. Today's Bible study, Arizona, insanity. Hey, we've got so many atonement radio programs on. Got a couple of crazy stuff on tap for you today. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. We're downtown on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's the red brick building. If you go to the website, hardcorechristianity.com, you'll see all of our ministry services. Of course, we have 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. Brother Rick and the team handle the Thursday night service. I teach at the Friday night service with the ministry team. We have 2 live Zoom services every week. Sister Julie does the women's service on Zoom at 6:30 on Mondays. Brother Rick and Stephanie do the Wednesday Zoom at 6 o'clock. Those are all Mountain Standard Times. Those are all Arizona times. We have all kinds of ministries, women's seminars, children's deliverance services. I have a deliverance training seminar that I teach the 4th Saturday of every month. I have them on Sunday morning podcast at 9 o'clock that you can join. And please remember to hit the PayPal button, and don't forget about Sister Karen. She'd love to list your house for sale. She loves working with born-again Christians. Arizona used to be a sane state. I mean, this place was some beautiful place. I moved out here from Kansas in 1980. After I got out of graduate school, came out here to find my fortune and my career. And I did. It all went fantastic. I became a millionaire. I was a professional counselor. I had my own counseling center. It was a small business with 5 employees, that kind of thing. Arizona was really a spectacular place back in those days. And that's not that long ago, frankly, the 80s. The 90s, I mean, it seems long ago, but it really wasn't. But now, Satan has now put his eye on us. And he's going to overrun us and destroy us like you can't believe. Arizona is one of the number 1 growth states in America. Maricopa County is one of the number 1 growth counties in America. And on top of it all, we are now going to take the brunt of illegal immigration, and we will be importing from the southern border felons and criminals you can't conceive or believe. Fentanyl, human traffickers and drug traffickers bolting across the border. As I'm speaking to you right now, the Tucson sector is the number 1 sector in the United States. 250,000 illegal immigrants have been absorbed into the United States through the Tucson sector. It's between the Indian reservation and the highway that connects Tucson with Nogales. This area is one of the most remote stretches of land in the United States. And for the past 2 months, the busiest region for the Border Patrol. We are getting hit like you can't believe. And the press, of course, highlighted Texas because they were number 1 for so long. But guess what? Texas had enough of it. What did they do? 4 layers deep of razor wire. Remember the old barbed wire we used to have back in the 50s and 60s? Yeah, they had barbed wire when I was a kid. Now they don't have that anymore. They got razor wire now. I mean, this stuff is vicious. Texas had enough of it and put up 4 deep barrels of razor wire on the southern border. And guess what happened? Well, you know what happened. The illegal immigration has ground to a virtual halt. Texas should have done that in the very beginning, but they didn't. Guess what else happened? The cartels have now moved to Arizona and the San Diego sector. The Tucson sector number 1, the San Diego sector number 2. And the illegal immigrants are coming across in droves. Folks, hell is coming to breakfast in the United States through the great state of Arizona. Arizona insanity number 2. In addition to illegal immigration of criminals and felons, the Health and Human Services Committee in Arizona unanimously approved Senate Bill 1570. It was a bill introduced by Senator T.J. Shoup from Coolidge. What was the bill for? Legalizing mushrooms for mental health treatment. Pot is legal in Arizona. Medical pot and recreational pot. You can get a medicinal pot prescription from a doctor in Arizona, and all over Maricopa County, you just walk in and buy some pot. Everybody knows THC in pot damages your brain. It causes brain damage. It's an extremely dangerous drug. The pot coming across from Mexico is fright night powerful, the strongest in history. And people are having psychoses and schizophrenia developing from smoking Mexican pot. You get a reefer from Mexico, son, you're taking your life in your hand. Well, you can be treated now with mushrooms, yes. Psilocybin, the drug in the mushrooms, has now been approved for mental health treatment. What will happen after that? Of course, there'll be a black market for mushrooms, since it's legal now for medicinal purposes. There'll be a black market for mushrooms, and in addition to pot, everybody's going to be developing psychoses from mushrooms. It's going to spread all through the state of Arizona. Regulating mushrooms has been commissioned to the Arizona Department of Health Services. You can now treat a mentally ill patient that's not responding to standard treatment with mushrooms. What's going to happen after that? Of course, it's going to spread. Of course, it's going to spread just like it did pot. Pot was finally, after decades of fighting, given to people as medical treatment. What happened after that? Boom! It got approved for recreational use. As John Madden would say, boom! It's going to hit again. Mushrooms are now approved for medical treatment, psychiatric treatment. Psychiatrists can now prescribe it, along with other psychotropic medications, of course. And guess what's going to happen next? It'll follow the same pattern. This is what Satan does. He does the same thing over and over again if it works. He's a very patterned person. If something works, he stays with it. And he's going to do it again with mushrooms. It's going to sweep Arizona like it has Oregon. Oregon has mushrooms now for recreational use and medical use. California is in the process of doing the same thing. Colorado is in the process of following Oregon. Massachusetts, Michigan, Washington is, as I'm speaking to you right now, following the path of marijuana and the path of Oregon, where it's legal now in Oregon for recreational use and for medicinal use. A psychiatrist can prescribe it in Oregon, and you can go to a mushroom shop now. Probably the same shops that sell pot will now be selling mushrooms. It's a natural progression. And as I said, in those states I just mentioned, the United States is headed toward recreational use of mushrooms. If it's good for people who are mentally ill, why wouldn't it be good for the general population? If marijuana is good for people that are mentally ill, why isn't it good for the regular population? Satan's logic is spectacular. Do you think he's stupid? Wow. He's smarter than an entire country of human beings. His IQ is supernaturally off the chain. He'll use the same process to destroy us. They clogged up the Texas southern border. Guess what? They'll just come to Arizona first and San Diego second. New Mexico will be the last one to become number one for illegal immigrations. They've dodged the bullet so far. They've had very few, in comparison, I should say, illegal border crossings. And guess what they get next? Mushrooms. Everybody is going to get mushrooms. They already got pot, see, and we never did get rid of alcohol. As you know the dangers of alcohol. Everybody knows all about it. They did get rid of the dangers of opioids. The doctors can't prescribe those anymore. And when they do, it's obviously in severe chronic pain cases, or for a very brief period of time after a surgery or something, or an injury. They'll give them opioids for pain control. But they don't hand them out like candy anymore. And guess what else is happening? The whole state's gone nuts. Rachel Dolezal, the woman who said she was black. She was born in Montana. She was white as a ghost. Got fired from her teaching job in Tucson at the Catalina Foothills Unified School District. They hired the woman with no background check. Come to find out, she's a hardcore internet porn star, if you can believe it, on OnlyFans. She has an OnlyFans account of total perversion. They finally caught onto it in Tucson, and they fired her. Arizona, brace yourself.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.